Hey, so New York AM Tuesday recap. Two trades were taken on this. One was a red trade and the other was break even. I went into the session just a bit. Initially, I definitely was bullish. There's no doubt about that. I was expecting price to go higher, especially after the CPI data print came in. It was quite obvious that price wanted to go higher initially. So essentially, what I did like is I did like price to come back into this hourly fair value gap here that we had on the higher time frame, but I knew some sort of manipulation leg at the highs was needed. So initially, there's a few kind of price action, or a few setups I saw here, which weren't too bad. The first was this 1 minute assisted here. After the initial news, we delivered in 5 minute fair value, had some sort of stop right here, then you had assisted setup where price eventually takes the high that we created. But going into the session, I was expecting kind of like a Judas swing. That's kind of what I was setting myself up for. I was expecting price to essentially manipulate on the session or near the open of New York, so around 9:30, and I was looking for some sort of move lower. Initially, what you had is you did have a confirmation, and my setup here was this 2 minute inverse fair value gap here. This was the setup that I took. I essentially put my stop to this high. I got stopped out for a tick, and I was targeting at least this minor low here. This here, really good R&R setup. Had a bit of a manipulation leg. I think I was a bit too impatient here. I should have probably waited, even though the inverse confirmed in the 2 minute there. I should have probably waited for the session open just to see what happened, because I could have still taken that entry after and it would have worked perfectly into these lows. Coming into this, essentially my next setup here was a bullish fair value gap. I took a 30-second long on Nasdaq. You did also have this 2 minute here that confirmed eventually to the upside. Took two candles, I believe. Yeah, so that eventually did confirm. Let me just turn this onto that. That 2 minute did confirm for longs. This one here made sense. You were in the session, 1 hour fair value, you took liquidity and went higher. To show this here, I'll kind of show you the setup on the 30-second. Don't have the 30-second access on TradingView, but I can show it to you on Trader8. Just give me a moment. Yeah, pretty much you had that 30-second fair value, you inversed it within 2 to 3 candles. I took an entry around here, and eventually I got stopped out. The 2 minute was just stronger confirmation for upsides. Essentially, what we did see was that price just continued lower for a bit longer, and there was no real confirmation longs yet. But yeah, this one here would have been a nice setup. These longs here, essentially looking for longs, targeting the highs, stops around here. So still a nice 1-to-1 ratio trade. Eventually you didn't get it. Eventually we did get the long higher. It happened in the 10 a.m. macro where we did see the expansion higher. I believe it did take a while before price went anywhere near all-time highs again, or maybe it didn't in this case. There was a bit of a long here to take at least these clean relative equal highs sitting up there, but nothing clean for this one. And price, I believe, price for the rest of the session just trended down. But yeah, two setups had the Judas swing or the sell at the top, all-time highs, which I was stopped out at a few ticks, unfortunately. That was a good idea, and then had the 30-second, which I eventually stopped out for break even around here. So yep.